Welcome to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton, where we talk about legal matters that impact your life and your community issues that help you live the best life. The information presented on Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton should not be considered to be formal legal advice nor the formation of a lawyer-client relationship. It's time to talk justice. Now here's your host, Jennifer Burton.
Welcome to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton, here on the News and Talk of East Tennessee, News Talk 98.7 WOKI. Thanks for tuning in this evening. I'm your host, Jennifer Burton. Justice Talks is a show dedicated to discussing various legal issues that impact your life, as well as focusing on community issues that impact your health, your happiness, and your well-being. We're excited to have you with us tonight. This is our fourth show. A little bit about the show. The show is dedicated to hitting on legal issues and a variety of legal issues that affect you as East Tennesseans. It also is a show that brings in people in the community kind of to discuss things affecting your health, your happiness, your well-being. I'm excited to have two guests coming up on the show tonight. We're going to have Brooks Brown with Shout Out PLLC. That is a media marketing firm here in East Tennessee, and Brooks is going to be joining us at the end of this segment and running into the next segment to talk about some things going on here in the East Tennessee area, including the upcoming mayoral campaign for the City of Knoxville. We also are going to be having Fletcher Burkhardt here tonight, and we are so excited to welcome him. Fletcher is a candidate for the City of Knoxville mayor. He is a younger candidate, super aggressive, really focusing on his theme is people over politics, what makes him different from other politicians that are running. So we can't wait to talk to him and kind of get into the nuts and bolts of what his focus is and what his vision is for the City of Knoxville. Tonight, as we join in, I just want to explain the show is still in its baby steps, still in our early years. And we are working through, kinks and a learning curve here and there, just kind of seeing what works, what our listeners like, what they're tuning in to hear, what parts of the show are working well and what parts we want to make better. So we love hearing from you guys. You guys are more than welcome to visit burtonmckinnish.com, and you can submit comments there through our contact section. If you don't know who I am, or if it's your first time listening in, my name is Jennifer Burton. I am an attorney here in the East Tennessee area. I am also a mom to two amazing kids. I'm a Vol for life. I went to UT back during the glory days. Started here back in 1998, the year our football team won the national championship. So I was spoiled during those years. Those were the years of, T. Martin and Pat Summitt coaching the Lady Vols, and just some great times to be here in Knoxville. I've also been blessed to moved away for 3 or 4 years, moved to Memphis, and came back in 2006. And so I have been able to see firsthand a lot of changes here in the city of Knoxville and Knox County, and have chosen to make Knoxville my home, chosen to raise my family here. And it's just an amazing place to be. And one of the things I really love about Knoxville as a small business owner is I love the fact that even though Knoxville is growing, even though we have a lot of new growth in the city and people from all over, I like the fact that small town feel is not lost, that we still have a lot of community here in the Knoxville area. But it's been amazing to see it just change. Again, I moved back here in 2006. I've been back here, 13 years now, and have seen just so many changes, especially in the downtown Knoxville area, but even in other areas of Knox County and the surrounding areas. It's just been awesome to see. I'm like I said, a small business owner. I own a small law firm, and we have 2 office locations, physical locations in Maryville and Sevierville. We also practice all over East Tennessee, so I'm very blessed to get to go as far north as Bristol and do some work up there, and we go as far south as Chattanooga and even Marion County. And so it's awesome to get to go across East Tennessee and meet just amazing people that I get to come in contact with, and that was one of the things that drew me to the law, was just being able to meet different people and work for them. Our law firm has a focus on being your family's law firm, not your family law firm, but your family's law firm. And the goal of that is just to be able to help our clients when they call in and say, hey, Jen, look, this might be outside your arena, but here's what my family's wanting to do, or here's what my kids are wanting to do, or here's what I'm thinking. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is if we can't help you out with whatever your legal need is, we will try to get you to the right person who can help you, or the right team of people that can help you. And we are very fortunate to take a team approach where there's 3 attorneys on staff right now, and then we have a number of team members that work with us, and we take a group-oriented approach to us so that if you call in, you're going to be able to talk to any one of us, and we're going to know your case. We're going to know what's going on in your world. And we like that. We like that personal touch. One of the things when they founded the firm back in 2008, the focus was not to be one of those large mill firms. We didn't want our clients to turn into, a number or a file. We want our clients to be personal to us, and that has really come to fruition over the last couple of years, and it's been amazing. And I just feel really blessed to be able to have a small firm here in East Tennessee and be a small business owner. And we love helping other small business owners, and just so many opportunities. I love the opportunity to do what we focus on, which is primarily Social Security, disability, and family law, and criminal defense, and some personal injury, but also to be able to have clients call in. I had a good friend call in last week, and I am at liberty to share this, and said, hey, I've got this great idea to reach out and help kids in the community. And here's what we want to do. We want to be able to make sure these kids have new clothes when school starts back. A lot of students in these lower income school systems, they'll have hand-me-downs, or they'll have clothes from Goodwill. And just to be able to give kids some pride, and just to be able to get them excited and feel awesome about what they're doing. So, we're partnering to kind of bring that idea to life and say, okay, how can we set up a nonprofit and help these kids out so that they can go back to school with, new sneakers, and so they can go back to school in clothes that are gonna, kind of be fresh and clean, and set them apart, and get them on the right foot for a new school year, get them excited. So we're really, really fortunate to be doing that and be able to do things of that nature, which is kind of outside the box of just your run-of-the-mill day in and day out small firm practice. We do a lot of Social Security disability. So we love helping people who have poured in their lives, working hard, and when they come up on difficult mental or physical issues, we're able to help them get their disability benefits. That's a very rewarding process for us. We also do a lot of family law. Family law is anything from adoptions to divorces to child custody to prenuptial agreements. Maybe if you're heading into a second or third marriage and, you have kids and property that you want to protect. Our firm offers all of those services. We also do personal injury work. We are not, a sad joke, we're not ambulance chasers. We don't go out and, try to hunt down personal injury cases. Most of ours come from clients who we've represented in other matters, or friends and family that say, hey, look, I've been in this accident. Can you help us? We really enjoy doing that. We do a lot of workers' comp, which kind of plays in with the Social Security work as well, oftentimes. And then we do just some general civil litigation and just some criminal defense work. Criminal defense can often be a very rewarding area to work in. And so we are very blessed to be in there. So that's kind of what our firm does. A little bit about me. Like I said, I am a Knoxvillian now for goodness, since 1998, minus the 4 years I was in Memphis. I was a paper brat, so I moved around a lot. My family's originally from right outside of Asheville, North Carolina. So if you drive through the stinky paper mill town on I-40 called Canton, that's where my family's from. And we moved around a lot. I've lived in New England. I've lived in the Midwest, and now I'm back in Knoxville. I've been back here, like I said, almost 20 years, and raising a family here, and just really love East Tennessee, love the people of East Tennessee. That's what makes this radio show so fun, is to be able to kind of get outside of what I call my day job and get to do something that's very rewarding and allows me the opportunity to just reach out to people, meet different people, which is so fun here in East Tennessee. And one of those people who I've been able to meet and actually reconnect with is someone who I knew way back in my college years. Brooks Brown was the editor, I'm telling his age, back at the Daily Beacon back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was also in the Pride of the Southland marching band for a couple of years and was on Student Government Association, as I was as well. And Brooks and I knew each other back then just by name association and being involved in some similar opportunities. And then we were able to meet back up when our business had some needs. And Brooks runs a business that does a lot of marketing and advertising, social media work. And he is one of those awesome people that as a small business owner, I've been able to reconnect with. And so I'm going to bring into the show right now, Brooks Brown of Shout Out LLC.
Hey, Jen, how are you?
I'm doing great, Brooks. How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, the way that we met back up was just so crazy. I mean, we were serving on a campaign together for student government at UT in 2000, and you were I
was the campaign manager.
Yeah,
back
you
then.
you were a couple years older than me. Sorry, but
Thanks,
you were
Brooks.
an upperclassman, and I was just a little kind of peon, just trying to get my footing, and we worked together a little bit, and then you graduated and moved on, and then the opportunity to work with Burton McInnish came up, and I heard the name Jennifer McInnish, and I sat there and I just, for like 2 days before I was able to talk to you guys, I just was like, that name sounds so familiar. And then I finally Googled you and I saw your photo and I was like, oh my gosh. So it had been, 18 years,
right,
basically, which is crazy. Lots of things have changed, but yeah, I'm so excited for your show, and I think that you're doing a terrific job. I'm excited to talk to you next segment about some of the issues here in Knoxville.
Well, Brooks, I can't wait till we come back off our break. And again, we're going to talk about some things affecting Knoxville. You and I have both chosen with our families to make Knoxville home.
Yep.
You and your wife, Katie, who's amazing. And we will talk about some issues that the city of Knoxville is facing coming up in our next segment. So it's time for a break right now. Again, you're listening to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on the News and Talk of East Tennessee. News Talk 98.7 WOKI. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on News Talk 98.7. Burton McInnish can be found online at burtonmckinnish.com or by phone at 865-233-1105. And now back to your host, Jennifer Burton.
Welcome back to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. If you're just tuning in, this is our fourth show, and we're excited to be here with you tonight. Justice Talks is dedicated to discussing various legal issues that impact your life, as well as focusing on community issues that impact your health, happiness, and well-being. When we went to break, Brooks Brown and I were talking about a couple of things coming up for the city of Knoxville, one of which is going on right now. So if you're listening to me, go ahead and leave me on your iPhone, live stream me via the website, and go ahead and head on down to Neyland Stadium because Jeremy Pruitt and our Vols are playing right now, a little spring game going on. It's free, so if you're near the downtown area, head that way. We've had a busy Saturday here in Knoxville. Burton McInnish had an amazing turnout this morning for our Easter Bunny free photo shoot over in Maryville at the Smithview Pavilion. We want to thank all of our friends, family, and community for coming out to support that event. We are so blessed to be able to offer just something free, something to thank our clients and our potential clients and thank our friends and family. We've done it 2 years in a row now, and it's always just so fun to get into. And one of the things that we are going to do tonight is we're going to talk about different candidates for the City of Knoxville mayor. Right now we have, as you guys know, a very beloved candidate. Brooks, I think you probably know her a little better than I do. Not a candidate, but in office, we have Madeline O'Hara right now, and she is term limited. Mm-hmm. So as much as we love her and as much as she's done for the City of Knoxville, and I think I moved back to Knoxville in 2006, Brooks, and there's been just amazing growth. And I think it's due to the community involvement. The people of Knoxville have really made that happen. The business owners have made that happen. And Madeline O'Hara is going to be on her way out. And we have some candidates that are trying to get her position and want to continue the success we've had, one of which we are very fortunate to have on the show tonight. Fletcher Burkhardt will be joining us. He is going to be talking to us kind of about his vision for the city of Knoxville, what his campaign's about. His theme is people over politics. So I can't wait to talk to Fletcher and just kind of, let him tell us who he is, what he's about. That way, if you don't know him, if you're listening, you don't know him, you're going to get to. One of the things we're going to do here on the show over the next couple of weeks is we're going to try to get all of the candidates in for City of Knoxville mayor so that you guys, our listeners, can actually hear a little bit what these candidates are about, something more than a 30-second ad on a TV or, a blib on a screen. So just to kind of really hear them and talk to them and kind of see where their hearts are and how they feel about the city of Knoxville. Brooks, you've been in Knoxville a long time. What do you see as, issues facing our community?
Yeah, well, there are big shoes to fill. I mean, we've had a really good run of very stable leadership here in the city with Governor Haslam first serving as mayor. And I remember when Madeline ran against Haslam initially, and Bill won and brought Madeline into his administration. And, she has, particularly she's done an amazing job. This city, under both of those mayoral leadership directions, the city's just blossomed. And so, I think that if you're a regular citizen who is not uber connected into the political scene and you pay attention to it, you're worried about, basic things, property taxes. Sure. You're worried about your roads being paved. If you're a parent, you're worried about upgrades being made to the school that your child attends. You're not thinking necessarily about the nitty gritty details, but there are some issues like homelessness that, maybe in our daily lives, unless we see it in front of our eyes, we don't really think about, but it is an issue that we as a community that we have to pay attention to. And there are other larger issues like affordable housing, making sure that we continue the economic growth that has been experienced downtown into other sectors of the city as well. So I think that there are some corridors outside of downtown that, kind of reach like tentacles into or out of downtown, like
Sure.
Broadway, Chapman Highway, et cetera, that, really could use some investment. You've seen a blossoming of development and, economic opportunity on the south side of the river.
Right.
We had not been over there. I took Katie to a place. Have you ever heard of King Tut's?
Yes, I love King Tut's. It's been there for years.
Crazy little place.
Crazy little place.
Saw in the paper that they were going to close down, so I took her back. We hadn't been in 10 years, but that is the first time I've been up Chapman in 2 or 3 years, that far.
Right.
More than just across the bridge. And I was amazed, like going across the bridge, how much has been done with the Regal headquarters, all the condominiums that are across the river. I know that I've seen, extensive reporting on the expansion of Imes Nature Center and the quarry over there. And, Madeline and her administration have done a great job in continuing the, I guess it's I don't know. It's like the greenway system.
It is. Even there's a park, and I don't know, having small kids, I'm always looking to try to get them outside and get them moving. And there's a park on the south side now over there that's just absolutely beautiful off Sevier Avenue. And there's a bike shop down there now. There's Alliance Brewing. There's a new pizza place down there as you're going towards Island Home. And that area is an area that even when I moved back here in 2006, you still didn't really go down there that much.
Yeah.
I mean, Island Homes has always been a beautiful area, but other than that, the only thing you really think about in that area is like College Park or,
sure,
which is no longer College Park, but that area. And so now there's so much growth. There's a beautiful park on that side of the river now that has just some awesome playground equipment and resurfacing and just a really great area to get your family out into,
sure,
to go bicycle, to enjoy the river on that side.
And if Randy Boyd's father gets his way, there's going to be a Hobbit village over there eventually.
That's what I hear. And I'm not holding my breath for the Hobbit village just yet. But, of course, I'm kind of pulling for Randy. He did, not his dad, but Randy did.
I mean, if you want to invest money in Knoxville and Knox County, go right ahead.
Well, somebody invested some money because Randy Boyd obviously worked this week with Philip Fulmer in order to keep Barnes here. So I'm not going to say anything about that because I'm like, you know what? We have an amazing basketball coach. And in talking about it, all seriousness, and talking about issues affecting the city of Knoxville, University of Tennessee Knoxville is a huge employer in the area. They bring a lot of business opportunities to the area. So a strong football program, a strong basketball program, a strong ladies basketball program, and those non-revenue sports, which I think, UT has some amazing, traditionally non-revenue sports that track program has really excelled. We've always had a strong program, but now we've got some new leadership over there in the last couple of years. And, a strong university system does nothing but benefit downtown Knoxville. And it's a mutual relationship because obviously businesses want to come here when we've got a strong university system, which supplies, workers and interns and that sort of thing. So,
it blew my mind last week. And I'd never heard about it until it was reported after it happened, but it was called the Bassmaster Classic, a fishing tournament here. Okay.
Yes.
It brought, so apparently all
money.
of these people are working behind the scenes at Visit Knoxville, the tourism board, the mayor's office to make these deals happen from a tourism perspective. And then you hear about it. And if you're not really involved in it, don't go to the park that day and see a bunch of people on their boats.
Bunch of bass boats.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
But I was amazed that it was like $30 to $40 million of an economic impact. So tourism here seems like just a huge deal from an economic perspective.
Well, and there's so many conventions that we host that, like you said, unless you're hands-on involved with them, you may not be aware of. Like Odyssey of the Mind is a huge program for students, and every summer that brings thousands of students and parents to the Knoxville area. Our music scene is growing and changing so much. I mean, I went to the Lauren Daigle concert a couple of weeks ago at Knox County at the convention center.
Yeah.
It was sold out.
Yeah.
I mean, packed to the gills. Well, you know what that does? That makes everybody want to eat dinner downtown.
Yeah.
People want to, they're paying to park. They're doing things of this nature. So, Madeline Rojero's done a good job, and she has continued what, former Governor Haslam brought to the table. And two of the candidates that I was noticing, there's 6 candidates right now really for City of Knoxville mayor, and 2 of those candidates have ties to Rojero. Eddie Maness, of course, was a deputy to her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kincannon also had worked with her, worked on the school board and some things like that. So you've got some ties and, that continuity of leadership, which can be a super bonus in some ways. But there's also some positives. Somebody like Fletcher, who may be amazing because, he's got some new ideas to bring to the table. So I'm going to be interested to talk to these candidates over the next couple of weeks and just kind of see, what their ideas are. I know I've read a lot about, I guess, Eddie Maness and Marshall Sayre. They, to me, seem to be getting a lot of press coverage right now.
Sure.
So I've probably read more about them. And I know Eddie Maness, one of his big focuses is on using some of these big employers in the Knoxville area for our benefit, the TVA, the Regal, the HD Hackney, the Tombras Group, that sort of thing. So I'm really excited to bring these candidates in, Brooks, and just kind of see, hey, what is your ideas as this city grows? Like, where you want to take us? Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see. And I think that was the kind of Glenn Jacobs issue at the county level, where you talk about political experience versus no political experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got some candidates, like you said here, that have some political experience, maybe haven't necessarily been elected to office, like Eddie. I mean, Eddie has worked in the administration, but was not an elected position. And so you could still call him somewhat of an insider, but you have folks like Fletcher and some others who don't have that experience, but still can bring new ideas and opportunities to the table and surround themselves with people that do.
Right. And, I'm excited. I do think I was reading, I know that after the primary, if you have one candidate get 50% plus one vote, it can kind of stop things there. I don't think that's going to happen just from a numbers standpoint with, 4 major candidates, 2 other candidates that are kind of still skirting around the issue. So I think we're going to go to November on this one. And that's exciting. I think that says a lot about Knoxville, that we've got people that are passionate about our city that want to give back by running. So, Brooks, I really, really appreciate you being here tonight. We're coming up on a hard break, but don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to be visiting with the City of Knoxville mayoral candidate, Fletcher Burkhardt, here on News and Talk of East Tennessee, News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
You're listening to Justice Talk with Jennifer Burton here on News Talk 98.7. Burton McInnish can be found online at burtonmckinnish.com or by phone at 865-233-1105. And now back to your host, Jennifer Burton.
Welcome back to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. If you're just joining us tonight, we spent the first half of the show talking about things that affect the city of Knoxville and just some things in the sporting world that have gone on this week, and just kind of how the next couple of weeks we're going to hopefully bring in some candidates for the City of Knoxville mayor. I am beyond excited tonight to have my first candidate for City of Mayor that's going to come meet with us, and that is Fletcher Burkhardt. Fletcher, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, Fletcher, I did creep on you a little bit on the internet to see, something about you. I do show prep before the show starts, and I see that you and I share a political science major. Different universities, but same major.
Yes, ma'am.
So have you used that major any going out into the world, or was it just like kind of for me, it was just a foundation, and then I just went on?
I actually chose that major when I was 18 years old because my goal was to become mayor of the city of Knoxville. The only reason I went to college was to prepare for this job.
Well, that is awesome. So you're a born and raised Knoxvillian.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so tell me, what made you at that young age say, you know what, I want to come back and be, City of Knoxville mayor?
I think Knoxville is one of the greatest cities in the country. I love everything about it. I've traveled a lot, and nothing beats Knoxville. And to be able to pursue the opportunity to make Knoxville even better every single day than it was the day before is the dream.
Yeah. I love Knoxville too. I chose Knoxville. I don't know, you and I are just meeting, but I chose Knoxville to come back and raise a family here. I went to college here for 4 years. I was a paper brat, so I moved around a lot growing up. Originally from Western North Carolina, but Knoxville has just always been home to me, at least for the last 20 years. I went away for 3 or 4 years for law school, but came back, went to Memphis, came back. And I've been back here since '06 now, and it's just amazing. But I have seen so many changes. And since you were born and raised here, you've seen more changes than me. But I can remember, Fletcher, back, I was in college here from 98 to 2002. At that time, we didn't go downtown hardly any. We didn't go to the old city rarely. I think there was BW3s down there, and maybe there was Tomato Head, but there was not the growth there is downtown Knoxville. The south side of the river at that time was not grown up at all. North Knoxville, there are areas you just didn't go to. So I know I've observed just this complete regrowth, but what have you seen in Knoxville that you're excited about as a candidate for mayor?
Honestly, I think Knoxville's really stepped up with what we represent and what we can offer. I think that we offer a lot of opportunity. I do believe that we need to step up in marketing, branding, and strategy.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to hear. What can you offer as mayor for candidate that's going to be different? And I'm excited just as a voter here in Knoxville, and just to know, okay, what sets you apart? What are kind of your platforms, your goals for City of Knoxville? How do we go about making it? It's awesome, but how do we make it better?
So I always give people the analogy. If I give you $100 million right now today, and I give you two choices in business, one has branding, marketing, and strategy, one doesn't. Who do you invest your money in?
The branding, marketing, and strategy.
So why should a city or a business or any company invest in our city and bring jobs and opportunity here when we don't have that? When you look at every city surrounding us, we have the gig city in Chattanooga who's blowing us out of the water right now with investments from companies in small business and tech. Nashville, the music city. You've got Louisville. You've got Queen City, you've got Cincinnati, you've got Charlotte, Asheville, Atlanta.
Even Memphis. And I lived in Memphis for 4 years, and Memphis sometimes gets a bad rap, but Memphis has a lot to offer. It's a great city. If you love music, if you love barbecue, if you love fine arts, Memphis has a lot. I don't think people necessarily think of Memphis unless you've lived there. Mm-hmm. And I think they've done a great strategy in maybe the last 5 years, kind of selling Memphis and this new side of Memphis where it's like company friendly, affordable, come raise your kids here, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. We've got stuff for, young professionals. I think they've done a great job. So where do you see Knoxville going with that?
So I personally believe that the brand of Knoxville is, I like urban wilderness. Mm-hmm. I like the idea that we are a city in 5 minutes in any direction you can be in nature. I like what we offer outdoors people. I like what we offer people who love to be in the concrete jungle.
Right.
I think that Knoxville is a great mix of everything that someone would want.
Yeah, I can't think of many other cities where, and I love to fly fish, but I also like the convenience of a city. I can't think of many other places where you can be downtown and get great tapas and then in 30 minutes be in Townsend. Like, I can't think of many other cities that offer that kind of accessibility.
No, there aren't really. I mean, you have some opportunities out in Colorado, obviously.
Right. So I was at Denver was the one place that came to mind.
Yeah, but also look at Denver's marketing, the Mile High City. I mean, it's phenomenal. People want to go there. People want to visit there. Our city right now, 11 million people visit the Smoky Mountains every year. Yet they'd rather spend a day at Tanger outlets than come to our city.
Oh, which hurts my heart. Now,
it's terrible. Like
we love Tanger, but there's so much down in Knoxville.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great that people go to Tanger. I think it's awesome that it's available to us in our community as well.
Yeah.
I just want some of that dollar amount coming here.
Yeah, how do we capitalize on it? And you get some of these 11 million here to Knoxville to spend money, because that's great for our local economy.
If half of those people stop and spend, $40, how much money do we bring into our city?
Yeah, I mean, that will be loaded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly at that point. That's awesome. Well, what do you have in mind as far as if you are elected, when you get into office, like, is it going to look like this setup looks now as far as, the people you work with, or will you keep some of those people? We've had a lot of success under Madeline O'Hara, but will you keep it kind of similar, or will you make some different changes?
I mean, I believe that, I'd love to see some younger people be involved.
Okay.
I mean, I think that millennials need to step up.
I can tell you this just from being a small business owner. I have 2 associates that work with me, and I have learned so much from them. And I'm not super old. I mean, I'm not even 40 yet, but I have these younger associates. They know they're more computer savvy than me, more social media savvy than me. They're amazing, and I learned so much from them, and it helps me as a business owner.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think Madeline O'Hara is an incredible woman. I love her. I think she has good intentions, and she loves this city.
Right.
We may not agree politically on some stuff, but good and reasonable people can disagree. And I love that about that. That's one of my favorite things on earth.
We see so much in politics. And, I was a political science major. I used to want to be a campaign manager. That was like kind of one of my dreams, like that, or sports journalism were the 2 things I loved. But one of the things I see so much on our national scale, or even on kind of a larger scale in our state, is this division. You have to be one or the other. You have to be red or blue. There can be no melting. And I think the city of Knoxville, to me, is interesting because while the city has a lot of Democratic voters, they are surrounded by a lot of Republicans. And so for Knoxville to be successful, you're going to have a mayoral candidate who can unite everybody.
And my personal goal is to bring people together.
Right.
I believe that if we can work together as a community and as a city, we can make real change. And my goal for our city as a whole is to make Knoxville the blueprint for the modern Southeast. I want cities surrounding us to go, why are businesses flocking to Knoxville? Why is the homeless population dropping? Why are the opioid overdoses going away?
Yeah.
Like, I want people to look to us for inspiration. And I think that if we work together and we be one community, one city, then that can happen. If we work towards a single goal.
And that's, unifying the city, I think, and like I said, I've been back here since 2006. My office itself, we have offices in Maryville and in Sevierville, but we work all over East Tennessee. One of the things I love about Knoxville and Knoxvillians, whether it's the people I go to church with or my girlfriends or, people I meet through my kids in school and that sort of thing, or clients, I see so many amazing volunteers in our community. And it's like they're all volunteering for their thing, which is great.
Yeah.
You want people out there. You want people rolling their sleeves up and giving back to their community. But it would be amazing if we could unite that, have a united vision so that we're using all that manpower, all that volunteer hours in one direction.
Yeah, 1,000%. Especially, look at the homeless population. We have tons of organizations working with homeless people, jackets, food.
Yes.
We do have a board that does try to unite people, but sometimes it doesn't work, which is okay.
Right.
You can't get everyone to get on board all the time. But if we can really work together even with that alone, we could see big change. I believe, honestly, I'll go on homelessness for just a second, is we do need a mental health facility. I'd love to see Tenova be converted into a mental health facility in a VA. I think that would benefit our city and our community immensely.
Let me tell you, as somebody who works with a lot of Social Security clients, I think Social Security clients get a bad rap to me. I see stuff on social media. It's lazy. People don't want to work. Unless you've worked with these claimants, you don't understand the true mental health issues that a lot of them face. A lot of my claimants end up homeless, or they end up living in really unhealthy situations because they can't get themselves out. And a lot of what happens is they're unable to get the help they need because they don't have private insurance. So they're in this catch-22. They can't help themselves because they can't afford to, but there's nowhere for them to really turn to get the help they need.
Right. Yeah.
And so then we have this population, and I know that it's small relative to, the rest of the Knox County population and the city of Knoxville population, but these people need true mental health treatment and help, and they are just forgotten a lot of times.
Well, we can go back to, what do major metropolitans offer their communities? Mental health is always one. So why should businesses and jobs come to our city if we're not taking care of our own citizens?
Right.
I believe if elected mayor, it's like a relationship. It
Right.
doesn't stop the day I get elected. I hope to pursue this city and relationships with each individual community and people until the day I'm no longer mayor. I believe that true connection is important, and that is why my campaign slogan is people over politics.
And I absolutely love that campaign slogan, and especially in light of how nasty we've seen things get on a national scale lately. I really like that it's, I like what you've had to say and what I've been able to research and read about you online, Fletcher, and just talking to you, like, you seem to have a really big heart for the people of Knoxville.
100%.
And that goes a long way. And then you have this, innovative side that's like, hey, let's brand Knoxville, let's sell it, let's get people in, let's get revenue in so that we can do the things we want to do from a
Right.
social perspective, which we really, really like. And when we come back, Fletcher, there's a couple of things I want to talk about the opioid crisis, because it is something that affects every single person who I've met, every person I come in contact with. I'd love to go back and touch on some mental health issues that, kind of how we can work with some partnerships. So when we come back from the break, we are going to continue with the City of Knoxville mayoral candidate, Fletcher Burkhardt. You're listening to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on the News and Talk of East Tennessee, News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
You're listening to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on News Talk 98.7. Burton McInnish can be found online at burtonmckinnish.com or by phone at 865-233-1105. And now back to your host, Jennifer Burton.
Welcome back to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton here on the News and Talk of East Tennessee, News Talk 98.7 If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Justice Talks with Jennifer Burton. Tonight, we're visiting with City of Knoxville Mayoral candidate Fletcher Burkhardt about his vision for Knoxville. Fletcher, thank you again for being on the show. I'm enjoying having you on and kind of learning more about you. And before we went to break, we were talking a little bit about mental health treatment. And one of the things that I've seen in my practice, just by the nature of what I do, is that a lot of times, and mental health issues affect what I do from a Social Security standpoint, also from a family law standpoint, because I see a lot of family members having to step in and raise children because it's like which comes first, the chicken or the egg, the mental health issue or the substance abuse issue when it comes to opioids. And so I do a lot of relative adoptions where relatives weren't planning necessarily to be raising children, but they have these small, precious little humans that their parents, biological parents, have been subject to addiction and are unable to break free of that. And so I do a lot of adoptions in that realm. So Fletcher, what are you thinking about doing, or what are you going to try to push if you're elected city mayor to address that opioid crisis in conjunction with mental health treatment?
Well, I mean, I don't believe that addiction is a criminal offense. I believe that people turn to drugs because of, they don't like who they are. They don't like where they're at. I can't imagine a situation where someone's picked up an opioid and goes, oh, this is really going to turn out good for me.
Right. And a lot of times it's self-medicating. I think what I see in my practice a lot is I see people who have a mental health issue and they can't get the treatment they need because of financial constraints, insurance, and so forth. Mm-hmm. And so what they end up doing is self-medicating. Then when they self-medicate, once they get addicted, then it leads to criminal issues a lot of times because then they're having to steal in order to pay for their. And so it is a vicious cycle. And I think that we need to find a way to break the cycle and see what other cities are doing to address this. So what is kind of your solution when it comes to the opioid crisis?
I mean, I do believe that we have some organizations that are working to address those issues currently that our city can work with directly. I do believe that we have to step up. I said it earlier, is we need a mental health facility. Major metropolitans and other cities offer these things. And, right now we don't. I mean, Lakeshore closed. Our mentally ill population went to the streets and to jail.
Right.
And that's not the answer.
And how do we, Fletcher, is there a way to, there's some amazing organizations here in Knoxville, and I've been privy to work with some of them. We have CARM, which is awesome. We have a lot of local churches who are really fighting the good fight, doing what they can to reach out to the homeless in Knoxville, to reach out to the mentally ill in Knoxville. But what do we do to kind of get everybody on the same page? It's like, you don't want everybody spinning their wheels on the hamster wheel. You want everybody going in the same direction. So what can we do as a city to or what would you do as the mayor to unite all these amazing organizations and people, but to get them, you know what I mean? To kind of
So there's actually already a board that is to unify these people, at least addressing the homeless issue. And honestly, I'm blanking on the name currently.
Okay.
But there is a board that the mayor has put together to try to get people on the same page.
Okay.
As far as I know, that it's doing pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, there's always going to be the outlier.
Right.
I think in any situation, there's going to be the one person or the two people that may not want to work with the group.
Sure.
But, we're working towards a lot of goals right now as a city. And I mean, honestly, when I look at CARM, I went and toured their facility about a month ago, and they're doing some incredible stuff, incredible stuff.
Right.
I mean, with the Berea program over there, where people actually pay for their laundry.
Right.
They're teaching people responsibility. They have a new financial class that they had just started when I went there, where they're putting money into an account and they're teaching people how to manage money. And after they graduate the program, they can have anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to pay their first and last month's rent and their KUB deposits.
And I think you've touched on something, Fletcher, that's been apparent to me just, doing the work in the legal field that I do. When you see some of these drug courts that have been successful, like up in the 4th Judicial District, Judge Sloan kind of oversees the drug court. These courts do more than just say, if you don't pay your fine, if you don't show up, you're violated. They are trying to get help and treatment for the people that are in these programs. And so, I know there was a rehab program that years ago I had a good friend go through. And one of the things they did, it was more of a 4-step program. They helped you with your mental health. They helped you get on your feet. They helped with vocational training. So it kind of eased the person who's struggling with addiction or struggling with straight mental health issues or both. It kind of eased them back into society, but it equipped them in order to be contributing members of society.
Right. And like I said earlier, too, is I believe that loving people well and giving someone purpose can change their life.
Yes.
I was a Young Life leader for 5 years. I got to hang out with in the dark place that is high school.
Yeah, which is terrifying.
And it honestly, as a college student going back into high school, you're scared. I was a 240 pound rugby player in college. Go into a high school slightly nervous. So yeah, I mean, I just believe that purpose is what a lot of people need. And even when you look at what other cities are doing with just their homeless people in general, right. There's certain cities that are actually hiring homeless people part-time to pick up trash and pull weeds. Yeah. They're giving them purpose to wake up in the morning. There's some cities that are international cities that are giving homeless people training to give tours of the city. Right. And half of the ticket price goes to the homeless person, half goes back to the program. So it's self-funded. So it's not taxpayer funded. It's things like that are innovative and creative and new ideas, because oftentimes what we see is the same idea regurgitated slightly different, hoping for a different result. We have to step up, and if we want to be the blueprint for the modern Southeast and the city that people go to and look at, we have to start doing things a little different.
Well, and you touched on something. There's something that my home church does that I love. We do a thing called Here for Knoxville. I go to Severe Heights over on Ocala Highway. Mm-hmm. We do this thing called Here for Knoxville, where we go. It's one Saturday a quarter, but we go and do projects within the community. We're not out there browbeating people with a flyer or a pamphlet. We're there repainting schools, mm-hmm. or doing flowers, or helping with lawns, or going to elementary schools and cleaning bathrooms, that sort of thing, in order to really just give back. And I think that community feel, what you touched on, you have to have that relationship and show that love in order for people to kind of get on board with you.
And when I get elected, I'm not going to stop being involved in these communities and meeting people and talking to people. Sure. We have a great city council that, stays involved with their communities, but it's the job of the mayor to listen as well.
Let me ask you about a lot of people running for city of mayor. I know they're saying we need to raise taxes. We need to raise taxes. That's the only way we're going to get where we need to be. Is that the only way to get where we need to be, or are there other ways to get there?
No, we need to create revenue. I actually don't. I hope that I'm able to never raise taxes. That is my hope and desire. I believe that we can create revenue. We're in one of the most geographically perfect locations in the country on Interstate 40, 75, and 81.
Right. Not to mention the river and the railroads.
I mean, we can create so much revenue inside our city. We have an extremely high entertainment tax that prevents a lot of acts from coming here. I'd love to see us bring back Sundown in the city, move it to World's Fair Park, have that be an event to showcase our local businesses through food trucks, breweries, and vendors. I'd love to bring back Boomsday. I'd love to see Boomsday be a weekend-long music festival, have no shows during the UT game, have a stage on each end of Nayland and one in the middle, bring in big-name acts, have big companies invest in our city, see what we're doing, be like, oh, they're killing it. Knoxville is stepping up, coming to the plate and hitting home runs.
How do we use the companies that we do have here? We have some big companies here, Regal,
Tombras,
TVA, Tombras. How do we use those big companies? And I don't mean use them in a manipulative way, but how do we use them in a productive way, both for them
and for our city? How do we keep the money here?
Yeah, how do we keep them here?
We need to invest in our businesses. I hope that, if elected mayor, I would love to work with companies like Tombras and Regal and TVA. I mean, they're local. We should funnel the money back into our city. Those people are going to spend the money in our city at our local businesses.
Right.
Why hire, this isn't what we do, but why hire a firm out of, New York City to, do our commercials when we have Discovery and Tombras right here who are doing incredible work for huge national companies.
Right.
We have to invest in our community.
Right. And you see how much bringing big corporations in can really impact a community. Mm-hmm. I think you saw it when years ago when Saturn moved into Spring Hill, south of Nashville, and you saw it when BMW went into Greenville, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Greenville's had kind of a resurgence. Over in that area.
And I think it was VW went to Chattanooga?
Yes, they went to right outside Chattanooga. Anytime you bring those big companies in, it brings jobs. And how do we also, when you're bringing these people in, how do we make our education system in the city of Knoxville attractive to where people say, look, I want my kids to go to school here. They're great schools, and here's why they're great schools.
Well, so, obviously the city doesn't have as much say in education since I think it was the 80s mm-hmm. that we gave it to the county. What I was talking about last night, we have some coding schools here, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I really think that we need to step up with what we offer and be creative because, right now technology is not going away.
No.
Coding is not going away.
Well, and it's as a parent, I know this, it's such a struggle for me. And I have a 7.5-year-old and a 4.5-year-old. And it's a struggle between limiting screen time so that their brains are not mush, but also not holding them back because they're going to be able to need to be very digitally savvy.
Correct. And the thing is like, I'd love to see us push some of the technology and actually market that nationally, internationally, whatever we need to do to go, oh, their kids are learning this. We need to invest in that. We have to offer things that other people don't offer. We have to step up. So I just believe that we have to get creative and be innovative with what we're doing. We can't do what other people are doing all the time.
Well, Fletcher, it has been a pleasure to have you here tonight. I am so grateful that you've taken time out of your schedule, which I'm sure is busy as a business owner and running for mayor, to meet with us. And I want to thank Brooks Brown of Shout Out LLC for being with me earlier this evening. Tune in next week as we take a deep dive into all things adoption, as we're joined by Pam Fry, Director of Permanency and Adoption for Harmony Family Center. So if you're looking to adopt, considering foster care, want to know what you got to do to be prepared, join us next week, Saturday night at 6 p.m. here on News and Talk of East Tennessee, News Talk 98.7 with Jennifer Burton. Have a great night.
I gotta turn down my mental